Strengths and weaknesses. So obviously there are a number of strengths and weaknesses related to the software, and I wanted to go over some more practical use cases of things that work and things that don't work too well. So firstly, strengths. Answering questions. What is the capital of France? ChatGPT will respond with the capital of France is Paris. Simple Q&A, simple querying of different topics that aren't, personal information, like what is someone's address, for example, more general knowledge topics, and asking questions like that, it tends to respond really well. Generating text, so ChatGPT is able to generate text that is coherent and flows naturally. So it's quite useful for summarizing ideas or translating documents. You can actually send it an article link. So I'll give it a go with my Notion. Summarize this course into 20 words. Let's go a little bit longer. This course into 3 paragraphs. With emojis to be fun. There you go. So the ability to summarize articles, what a game changer. You don't have time to read a 20-minute article, paste the link in, ask it to distill it into whatever format, dot points, even little notes at the end. Yeah, different formats, it'll be able to do that for you. So great use case is summarizing information. Chatting. This was a great response. What else would you like to do? Of course, not a particularly useful use case, but it is able to have this conversation with you and give you, responses that are a little more personal and human. Use the word human very lightly. To give you a couple more rudimentary examples, it does not have the ability to experience emotions. So it gives you exactly what you would kind of expect from an intelligent AI to respond with. It doesn't get too deep, it doesn't get too emotional unless you ask it to, but it doesn't go off topic is what I'm trying to say. So interesting use case and a lot of fun to go down that particular rabbit hole. Providing personalized recommendations. For example, I'm looking for a new hobby and I'm interested in outdoor activities. Can you recommend some hobbies that involve the outdoors? And then it'll give you that list, which is like having an expert in any field to recommend certain activities, ideas, solutions to problems. Really powerful use case, and I'll get into utilizing personas to help craft ChatGPT's identity to get the most out of these type of prompts. Generating creative ideas, I think pretty straightforward one, but for brainstorming and helping you come up with solutions to problems is a really powerful use case. So for example, I want to write a short story, but I'm not sure what to write about. Can you help me come up with some ideas? And it'll give you some dot points. Great. A couple of examples there for some of its strengths. In terms of weaknesses, the first one being understanding context or nuance. So ChatGPT is not able to understand or interpret context in the same way a human can. For example, I'm really tired and I don't want to do anything tonight. It may respond with, I'm sorry to hear that you're tired. What activities do you normally enjoy doing in the evening? In this example, it assumes that the user is open to doing activities in the evening, when in fact the user is expressing a desire not to do anything. So it doesn't understand the background, and it'll do its best, based on all of this knowledge that it has of the internet, what the user is trying to interpret. But of course, a human wouldn't do that in a conversation. So just know if it doesn't have the context it needs, it's going to make up context if it needs to. Secondly, making decisions. So ChatGPT is not capable of making decisions or taking action on its own. It can only provide information or suggestions, and it's up to the user what to do with that. For example, I'm not sure what to do about my job. Should I quit or stay? It'll say something along the lines of, it's up to you to decide whether or not to quit your job, consider the pros and cons, and so on. So it's not going to make decisions for you, which I think is really smart of the developers and how they've built out this model. You don't want an AI recommending decisions, particularly bad decisions or dangerous or illegal decisions. So just know it's not going to do that for you. Providing reliable or accurate information, particularly when it comes to sources, references, and questions that are leading, which is trying to get it to say something that isn't quite accurate. You can get it to generate references like articles, YouTube videos, case studies, academic papers, but sometimes I've found that URLs aren't quite right or don't work. So just note that there can be issues with that, and it can be challenging to get those accurate references. But it will give you all of the information surrounding that, and then you can go and find your own references. Fourthly and lastly, providing professional advice or guidance. So, things that are obviously related to advice that comes with a lot of risks if the advice is not going to be correct. So asking for copywriting advice, you can kind of assess whether or not the advice is good. But for something that is highly technical, like a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer or a car mechanic or whatever that may be, particularly for medical use cases, I'm experiencing chest pain and shortness of breath. What should I do? You don't want to rely on ChatGPT for advice that could have a material impact on your health, your wellness, your finances, things like that. Excellent. See you in the next chapter. More restrictions related to ChatGPT.